And a very happy Wednesday to you at 12:08 in the West, the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wangs in Culver City.
John, another candidate has announced that he is running for governor. How do I introduce this guy? Joe Biden, can you help me?
For Secretary of Health and Education Service, I nominated Javier Baccaria.
Thank you, Grampy Joe.
Javier Baccaria is running for governor.
I love the fact that after he left California, his claim to fame was Secretary of Health and Human Services, or something like that. And the only stories that were ever written about him in that post is that he was a problem child in the Biden administration.
And wasn't it Nancy Pelosi said, do not hire that guy?
Oh, yeah, she hates him. I wonder what he did to her.
It doesn't take a lot to piss off Nancy Pelosi.
No, she seems like the type where you cross her, there's going to be a horse's head in your bed.
We love everybody.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. The Fix California Hour coming up after the news at 1. The top story today here in the state of California is that a bill that would prohibit biological men from participating in women's sports failed in the California state legislature.
It was actually two bills, and they both got killed by the Tourism and Arts Committee in the California legislature by a vote of 7-2, which was a party line vote.
Tourism? How the hell did that bill end up in the Tourism Committee?
It was the Assembly Arts, Entertainment, Sports, and Tourism Committee. They have a lot of categories for one committee where it is a 7-2 split. So pretty much anything the Republicans propose will not make it out of committee. Even something that Gavin Newsom got a hell out of headlines for supporting.
So in that committee, instead of wearing a suit and tie, are you supposed to wear one of those I Heart New York T-shirts with knee-high socks?
Well, because it's sports, maybe they're all wearing West Sacramento A's gear.
That could be.
They want you to wear shirts that say the West Way.
For more on all this, let's go to KCRA's Ashley Zavala.
The rejection of these bills was not surprising to many here at the state capitol, including the lawmakers who wrote them. But Republicans say this is not the end of the conversation.
Ward? No.
California lawmakers blocked two bills that tried to reverse state law on trans athletes in girls and women's sports.
Read the room, Sacramento.
And you know the feds say they're going to withhold money from California because they did this.
Why do you not care about our safety, and why won't you protect us?
Former and current athletes said the state's laws right now take away scholarships and team spots from girls and women. Taylor Starling runs cross country in Southern California.
In late October, the male transfer student was given my spot after not being held to the same strict team requirements as me and the rest of the girls.
How is that fair?
Well, you look at some of the results from some of these races, too, in cross country. They're not only beating the girls, they're beating the girls by wide margins. They not only have time to beat all the other girls in the race, they can have lunch, they can do their hair, and they can pee out a campfire.
You be careful on this story, Johnny.
I am.
I don't want to have to do my first dump in San Francisco.
He did not have to attend practice while my team and I were running 7 miles a day together. After having my spot taken away from me that I earned, I missed out on running with my varsity team in one of the top cross-country invitationals of the season.
Parents of trans kids said everyone deserves equal access to sports and facilities.
This is why California laws protecting trans youth and young people are so critical. They help ensure my daughter and kids like her are treated with dignity and respect.
Yeah, but how is that fair?
No, you notice it's always going one way. You never have some female-to-male transgender person lighting it up in the NFL.
The Assembly Committee, dominated by Democrats, said trans athletes make up a tiny percent of athletes across the state. They made it.
That's the argument they're making now, and this was the argument Gavin made last year before he flip-flop on this. Is this affects so little people? What do you even care?
Well, that's also the argument whenever there's a tax increase. Well, it's just 0.25%. Why are you getting all worked up over that? It's just a small amount of money.
They made it clear they'll keep protecting them, despite Governor Gavin Newsom saying weeks ago the issue is deeply unfair.
Yeah, but he said that on a podcast. He's not actually going to do anything to change the policy.
No, this is what Gavin does. He makes these big, grandiose proclamations, and there's zero follow-through.
And to their core, trans women are women, and they live their life as a woman, and they want to be respected as a woman.
The real threat is the Trump administration.
Assembly.
Oh, boy.
You notice, by the way, they're trying to turn this into a great big civil rights issue. And ultimately, the argument that they're making is you are a bigot unless you want transgendered females kickboxing biological women. How did we get there?
Well, and it's also an issue that is this position is deeply unpopular throughout the entire country, and I would argue deeply unpopular in the state of California. Except for the electeds in office, this is a real weird hill to die on.
Oh, yeah, and they take great offense to it. The only common ground that we can come to with all of this is that I don't want to be kicked by any of them.
The real threat is the Trump administration.
That's the not ready for primetime speaker, Robert Rivas.
Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas rejected the bill, then after the hearing, refused to answer questions from reporters.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Did you see him running down the hallway trying to avoid the reporters?
You know, I hope that Ashley Zavala is wearing a pedometer because she gets a lot of steps in chasing all these jackasses in Sacramento down.
Oh, yeah, and he's screaming at her. Can't you see him on a phone call? He's holding a banana up to his head.
I guarantee he wasn't on the phone.
No, of course not.
This is like, you remember when the Palisades fire broke out and that woman whose house burned down saw Gavin Newsom walking up the street. And she's like, Gavin, what are you going to do about this? And he holds up a phone and says, I'm on the phone with Biden right now. And she's like, well, can you talk to him? Put him on speaker. I want to talk to Biden. And Gavin says, well, I actually haven't called him yet.
Yeah, I'm looking for a signal. I have T-Mobile.
It followed warnings from the Trump administration that California could lose money over this. I tried to ask about it.
Mr. Speaker, are you worried at all about the Trump administration taking away funding from California?
There is nothing more chicken-ass than making a deeply unpopular decision and unwilling to defend yourself with that decision in front of Capitol reporters.
No, because he knows that even in his district, it's not popular.
Honey, hold on a second. Ashley, I'm on the phone. Okay.
You're not on the phone.
Oh, yeah. No, he needs to reach out and touch someone, all right.
Mr. Speaker, are you worried at all?
She's so tenacious, she doesn't give up.
Oh, we love her.
She will run at them until they get into the elevator. Wasn't it one of Mia Bonta's people or Mia Bonta herself that shoved her out of the elevator once?
Well, I don't think it was Mia Bonta that did it. I think it was her muscle, some assemblywoman from El Segundo.
Mr. Speaker, are you worried at all? Mr. Speaker, are you worried at all about California losing any money from the Trump administration?
I'll call you back in a couple minutes, okay?
So you're not worried at all?
Well, that's been a tough return for us.
What about the governor? I mean, what are your thoughts on the governor?
Poor Ashley, she's out of breath.
Yeah, she's huffing and puffing.
Your thoughts on the governor? What are your thoughts on the governor's remarks, though, Mr. Speaker?
With today's vote, the state assembly basically signaled.
That's so crass.
It's not like if you're the Speaker of the Assembly, every reporter in California is kicking down your door. It's not like you just opened up a movie and you're at LAX at baggage claim and the TMZ people and all the other tabloid reporters are chasing you down for comment. This guy is relatively anonymous. One reporter wants to talk to him, and he's too busy.
Today's vote, the state assembly basically signaled this idea is not going anywhere here at the state capitol anytime soon.
By the way, Ashley Zavala posted that video of her chasing down Robert Rivas on her social media, and the activist crowd decided to torch her, saying that she's a bigot because, you know, she's a reporter asking a question of the Speaker of the Assembly about a decision he just made.
As if that's a good look.
And she went on and said she completely defended herself because that's nonsense.
Today's vote, the state assembly basically signaled this idea is not going anywhere here at the state capitol anytime soon. So with that, lawmakers did say one possibility is that they could put this issue on the ballot in a future election. Reporting at the state capitol, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
As for Governor Gavin Newsom, he would not comment on today's hearing.
Of course.
If they actually put that on the ballot, that's bad news for the Democrats because they're going to be on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue, even in California. And all of their candidates in hotly contested seats are going to have to come out the wrong way because they don't want activists protesting outside their office.
Oh, it also deeply impact the race for governor because you have all 20 of the candidates. They're going to have to weigh in on this issue if that thing goes on the ballot.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, if you missed yesterday's show, which was our first simulcast, live simulcast in Los Angeles and San Francisco, that's easy to do.
All you got to do is search for The John Phillips Show wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify. Search for The John Phillips Show. Hit subscribe. You can download all the episodes. You can also get it right from one of our websites, kabc.com or ksfo.com, and download all the podcasts so you too can listen to yet another Ed Laskos gem we had yesterday.
It doesn't get any more horrible than this.
And coming up next week, we're going on the road.
How exciting is this? We're heading back to Long Beach. We're going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Gladstone's Long Beach and the 50th anniversary of the Long Beach Grand Prix. Join us on Friday, April 11th from noon to 3 for Fan Free Friday. We're going to be broadcasting live from that beautiful patio right on the Rainbow Harbor in Long Beach. It's gorgeous out there. The view is amazing. And the food? The food at Gladstone's is incredible. And I know this because the last time we did a broadcast there, John Sengmeister put a plate in front of my face about every 15 minutes. It was my favorite live event we've ever done. It was great. You were doing an interview, and at one point I was eating a turkey dinner. It was fantastic. Gladstone's Long Beach is a great location for a date night, delicious get-together with friends, sunset cocktail for family meals and celebrations. Gladstone's Long Beach, located directly across from the Pike Shopping Center. Make a reservation and join us next Friday, April 11th, and look for Gladstone San Diego at Seaport Village this fall.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Gilby Clark at the Canyon in Agora Hills on April 19th. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com, but right now, call in number 9 at 1-888-795-2222. Gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by the Canyon, where music meets the soul. Good luck dialing.
So the library in Sacramento is handing out something other than late fees.
Sacramento County Libraries now have a little stand with a box of drawers. And inside those drawers are condoms and pregnancy tests.
Because there are erotic elements of the library?
Maybe all the kids are getting into the new romantasy trend.
Yeah. I don't believe I've ever seen a novel at the library with Fabio on the cover.
For more, here is CBS Sacramento.
Controversy brewing at several Sacramento County libraries has nothing to do with the books on the shelves, instead contraceptives and more.
Yeah, let's tell you about this one. Those resources are being offered at...
That for the 8-year-old reading class?
Don't they give away Narcan at the ones in L.A.?
Oh, yeah.
And more.
Hell is going on at those libraries?
And more.
Yeah.
Well, the regular clientele of an L.A. County library is the same regular clientele of a San Francisco library, is the same regular clientele, I would assume, of a Sacramento County library. It's the homeless.
That's right. So this is where they pick up all of their necessities.
And more.
Yeah, let's tell you about this one. Those resources are being offered at 12 different libraries across Sacramento County. We've got them dotted there on your screen.
Yeah, not something you'd expect to see at the library. Your reporter covering Sacramento County, Tori Apodaca, is live at one location on I Street in downtown Sacramento with reaction from both sides. What are they saying, Tori?
Free condoms.
It's like Halloween all the time.
Yeah, Marley Hunter, right now we are just outside the South Natomas Library location, and inside those cabinets you will find those contraceptives as well as pamphlets like this one from Planned Parenthood, this one titled How to Talk with Your Child About Sexuality.
Whoa!
Okay, we all know that these are for the homeless.
Sac Public Library says that this is about breaking barriers to access those resources, but parents are concerned that it's exposing children to sexual topics too early. The collection of books in Sacramento public libraries sharing the shelves with a cabinet of contraceptives.
Okay, do they advertise that that's what's in the cabinet? Because unless you're just opening every drawer in the library, how are you going to know what's in there?
There's a big sticker on the top of it, and it says, "Talk to your kids about sex."
Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but this seems like an inappropriate subject to bring up at Drag Queen Story Hour.
It's a little shocking. Some parents see the point behind helping people access the free products.
It's great for adults to know that they can come to the library and have resources that they could possibly need.
But others...
I don't think your cat likes the idea.
What, so you're just going to throw a few in your purse just in case someone sends you a text on the way home? Right now, we're talking about the treats that the public libraries in Sacramento are handing out.
Public libraries in Sacramento County have decided to have a little stand with drawers where you can get free condoms and pregnancy tests. For more, here's CBS Sacramento.
But others question if this is the right setting.
It seems a little inappropriate just to, I would say, target children that way.
Each of the cabinets are placed in a different...
Is it right next to the rocking horse and all the kids' books?
You know who might push back on this?
Who's that?
Have you ever been to one of those Las Vegas hotels where they sell you the very expensive M&Ms and Pringles and bottles of booze? Well, in that area, they usually sell what's called an intimacy kit, just in case the mood should strike you. And in that intimacy kit are many of the same items that the Sacramento Library is giving for free. That's unfair competition.
Each of the cabinets are placed in a different open location in the libraries, some on display by the adult section and others in the central hub, filled with pregnancy tests, contraceptives, sex ed pamphlets, and QR codes that take you directly.
Does the condom come with an instruction guide?
I don't know, but if I was getting a book out of that library, I might use the condom as a bookmarker.
And QR codes that take you directly to Planned Parenthood's website.
We want to remove...
It's a full-service operation here.
Yeah, I can tell.
We want to remove the stigma around these resources.
Oh, boy. Anyone who starts any conversation in California with "we want to remove the stigma" is followed by a crazy idea.
I wonder what other locations they were kicking tires on before they decided that the library would be an appropriate place for this. Maybe they could be giving them out at the A's games.
Free condom day?
Yeah. Instead of bobblehead night or, I don't know, Father's Day mug day. Here, have a pack of condoms and some pregnancy tests, particularly if you plan on sleeping with one of the players.
We want to remove the stigma around these resources.
We met with a community engagement services manager.
Why is that a job?
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why we need a Doge here in California. That guy should be in the unemployment line.
The library pays how much for a what?
We met with a community engagement services manager.
That doesn't sound like a librarian.
No.
Library's job is pretty simple. Check out the books and make sure nobody talks loud.
Well, they also need to know that Dewey Decimal System.
For the Sac Public Library, Todd Deck.
Do you think it's the library's responsibility to have resources like this and have those conversations about sexual education?
Libraries are central to healthy, thriving communities.
Have you been to a library recently?
I haven't, for a reason.
I've been to a public library in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it was very nice. I have been to a public library in Los Angeles, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Worse than the MTA buses?
Libraries are central to healthy, thriving communities.
So, of course, they need condoms.
Sure, why not?
And so having resources that are of interest and need to the community is really critical.
I guarantee this guy's next brilliant idea is a needle exchange at the library and passing out the meth pipes, because that's also something we want to take the stigma away from.
Oh, sure. Well, look at Los Angeles. They pass out the Narcan there.
Pass it out everywhere.
Now parents are going to have to be concerned. Instead of coming back with a book, they're going to have to come back with a condom.
Little Johnny, where did you get that? From the librarian? Okay, that's fine. Enjoy.
I thought it was a Chinese finger trap.
Now parents are going to have to be concerned. Instead of coming back with a book, they're going to have to come back with a condom.
Yeah, I got to save that. I want to remember that that's happened later in the year. So I got to save this. I'm just going to call it Library Condom. Library Condom. It makes it fun at the end of the year when we do our drop of the year because we remember all these stories.
This is definitely a keeper.
Vice president of the nonprofit group California Family Council.
Of course, there's always some crooked nonprofit that's getting state and local funding that's associated with something like, let's pass out condoms at the library.
They were the ones that came up with the idea, huh?
Vice president of the nonprofit group California Family Council, Greg Burt, thinks if parents have to opt in their children for sex education...
Okay, this group does not like the idea.
Okay, good.
Thinks if parents have to opt in their children for sex education in public schools, why should libraries be any different?
This is really about cutting parents out. It's about sexualizing our kids at younger and younger ages.
The Sexual Health Resource...
Maybe they want to use the condom as a rubber band.
Don't give them ideas.
The Sexual Health Resource Cabinet's intended to spark curiosity.
One thing to keep in mind is that we are approaching this like we do a book on our shelves. So although...
How much do you think this guy makes for being the Sacramento County Library Community Engagement Officer?
Probably more than us.
Well, that wouldn't be a lot.
One thing to keep in mind is that we are approaching this like we do a book on our shelves. So although this resource may not be applicable for everyone, we do want to make it available for the people that do need it.
Instead...
Does he show them how to use the pregnancy test?
I wonder if he finds them if they don't bring back the pregnancy test in a reasonable period of time.
Instead, creating some concerns.
I think, exploring sexuality is healthy, but for a 4-year-old, not necessarily the best thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's common sense.
So those sexual health resource cabinets have now been available at 12 of the 28 libraries for about 6 weeks now. The plan, though, according to the library, is to expand to other locations.
When you have a system like this and you decide that you're going to have a cabinet full of condoms at public libraries, who do you contract out with for the condoms? Which company is getting a boost of state money to buy their rubbers?
Oh, I'm sure it's the public health department for the county. I'm sure there are federal dollars associated with this, and there are entire departments in those county agencies that deal with subject matter exactly like this.
Hey, let's go to Dale in Long Beach who's on the phone. Dale, hello.
Yeah, hey, fellas, it might have a positive side. Condoms for crackheads, do we really want them multiplying?
Thank you for the call, sir. Well, you rolled the dice, huh?
I like the alliteration.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Susan writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. She wants to comment on the Sacramento Public Libraries offering condoms and pregnancy tests. Hey, John and Randy, why stop with providing drawers full of condoms, pregnancy tests, and Planned Parenthood contact information to school kids? Why not add morning after abortion pills, cross-sex hormone shots, and magic mushrooms to the drawers, too?
Oh, well, if you did that, people may never leave the library.
John writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. John and Randy, you're missing the point. This can be a big revenue generator for the library system. The Sacramento Library, brought to you by Trojan.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. Yesterday, we told you about a story where the people of Los Angeles inexplicably decided to raise taxes on themselves to pay for more services for the homeless. Yesterday, that tax went into effect, and today, Randy, we have more information on that.
Local news figured it would be a great time to stick the microphone in front of shoppers as they realize the sticker shock of prices for everything going up.
I can only imagine what the reaction was.
For more, here's KCAL in Los Angeles.
A new sales tax hike is in effect in L.A. County to help fight homelessness. But in a time when everything feels too expensive, shoppers say the difference is going to add up. KCAL's Jeff Nguyen is in Westlake Village. That's a city divided by county lines and also bottom lines.
Oh, this is interesting. You're right on the border of Los Angeles County. Why would you ever buy anything on the L.A. side?
No. If you live in Long Beach, wouldn't you go down to Seal Beach for everything? At least anything that's high dollar amount?
Anything but a car, because the cars, they have a law where your sales tax is based on where the car's registered, not where you bought it from.
I see.
That's why you can't go buy a car in Oregon and think you're not going to pay tax.
So if I have a choice, I'm going to the one that's where it's less.
Laura lives in Westlake Village, which is split between L.A. and Ventura County. Today, the gap between the sales tax between the two sides grew. On the LA side, it went from 9.5% to 9.75%.
As soon as I saw the bill today, I was like, whoa.
Surprise.
As soon as I saw the bill today, I was like, whoa.
This county said yes to this.
The people in the county said yes to this. Why? I don't know, but they did.
Brittany McCarr lives on the...
Well, it was fairly confusing in the language because what they said that this was going to do was repeal Measure H, which people don't like, and replace it with this. It repealed the temporary tax of 1/4 cent and replaced it with a 1/2 cent permanent tax, which tells you the intentions they have of actually solving the homeless problem now that they have a permanent source of funding.
Well, let's be honest. No tax is temporary. The moment they get it on the books, they find other excuses to keep it there.
Brittany McCarr lives on the Ventura County side, where the sales tax is 7.25%.
So if you go over to Ventura County, it's 2.5% cheaper for everything when it comes to sales tax.
Well, just think about the regular items that you purchase where that would matter. When you fill your car up with gas, when you go grocery shopping, when you go clothes shopping, whatever the case may be, it makes it a lot easier to do all of your shopping and run all of your errands across that county line.
And let's say that you had a nice payday and you want to go do some clothes shopping at a mall. Why would you go to a mall in L.A. County when you could go to Orange County, you could go to Ventura County, you could go somewhere and you know you're paying a lot less now?
Yeah, they're at a strategic disadvantage.
I'm pregnant, so I'm trying to save money during this time.
So on pricey
Well, you should have gone to that library.
So on pricey purchases, you can really see the 2.5% difference add up. We bought these two PS5s at two separate Target stores. This one on the LA County side of Westlake Village for $548.74 with the 9.75 sales tax.
We didn't need the sound effect of the cash register ringing up.
Oh, the local news loves that.
They don't even make those noises anymore.
Well, it's California. No one pays for anything anymore.
While the same model in nearby Thousand Oaks was $536.24 with the 7.25 rate.
I saved $12 by not being in Los Angeles on one purchase.
And just compound that with everything that you buy.
On every single day.
A different
receipt machines don't sound like that anymore.
They did in the 80s.
Difference of 12.
Might be time to update the stock footage, guys.
A difference of $12.50. So say on a $2,000 purchase, LA County shoppers pay $195 in taxes, while Ventura County $145, $50 less for the same purchase.
Yeah, the difference in these taxes is now so wide, it's going to make a huge difference in how people spend their dollars.
Well, what's going to happen is you're going to see officials from Los Angeles County try to create parity. They're going to advocate or try to get their peers in Ventura County and neighboring counties to advocate for increased sales taxes, for an increase in the sales tax in those counties, because that's the only way to prevent people from leaving Los Angeles County and shopping elsewhere.
Well, and if you're in certain cities, the taxes are even higher because of all the local taxes on top of that. So if you're in Palmdale, Lancaster, it's 11.25. If you're in Santa Monica, it's 11. If you're in Long Beach, it's 10.5. That's a huge number.
It comes after the passage of Measure A to fund homeless programs.
Because, we've been doing such a great job with that money.
Well, and that's a huge part of the story. We're spending more money on the homeless, and the problem just keeps getting worse because the money isn't actually being used to solve the problem. The money is being used to make all of these homeless organizations wealthy.
That just doesn't seem to be getting a lot better. Seems to be getting worse, and I don't know that this is going to make it that much better.
I hope she voted no on Measure A.
What do you think the odds are she did? Slim and none, and Slim just left the building.
LA City and county leaders have faced criticism after a recent audit found the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, or LAHSA, wasn't able to track how nearly $2.5 billion in homeless funding was spent.
I am all for helping the homeless. I'm not for wasting my money.
They go hand in hand, lady.
Yeah, that's how the money is spent.
Some cities in LA County have higher rates like Alhambra, Covina, and Long Beach, where the sales tax is now at 10.5%. Others like Compton, Pico Rivera, and Santa Monica are now at 10.75%.
Holy cow!
There is a huge difference between the tax rate in those towns and the tax rate across the county line.
Keep in mind, if you buy a car, the sales tax will be based on where you live, not the place of purchase.
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. You might as well just allow people to cross the county line and buy those too.
In Westlake.
Okay, how many cash registers do you need in one piece?
Apparently quite a few.
In Westlake Village, Jeff Nguyen, KCAL News.
There you go. It is now significantly cheaper to be buying your goods in Ventura County or Orange County or San Bernardino or Riverside.
And all of this is a bad look nationally for Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom contends that taxes are actually higher in places like Texas than they are in California. No one believes him, but that's what he says. When you see stories like this in the news, you know he's full of it, and that hurts his chances to be the next president of the United States. All right, we have 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. The Fix California Hour is next. Don't you go anywhere.